Welcome to the Grow Old Disgracefully podcast. I think this is, I don't even know what episode it is, I'll be honest with you.
Might be five.
It's been a while since we've done one because you've been gallivanting.
I did go gallivanting. I did. I disappeared off to Canada for 10 days, as you do.
How was it?
As it was lovely. I am very lucky to have. Well, it's lucky and it's not lucky because it turns out that I tend to get my bestest friends all live quite far away from me. So I'm lucky to have a friend who I can go and stay with over there. And her husband works for an airline, which means I can go on a buddy pass, which I was really happy to do.
Paid days.
Yeah, so it was lovely. It was really nice. Had a nice time, and it was sunny
That's good.
here, which I wasn't actually that happy about. I'm not going to lie, Andy.
The weather's
Away,
been unbelievable up here. It's been so good.
it's so good down in Devon as well. But I don't know about you, but it just means I want to be outside all
Yeah.
the time. And I'm in my office at the moment, but I've tried working on the computer out there, and um,
You just can't work on a computer when it's sunny because
no,
regardless of
no.
which way you're facing, you still just can't see the screen, can you?
It's not good. It's not good. So yeah, I did my I've got my home gym, so I moved the bench and everything and the dumbbells outside to do a workout earlier.
Nice. That's a
Like
good
it
way
old
to do
school.
it.
It's okay until you're using the barbell, if you need the rack, but with the dumbbells, that's fine. What
Yeah.
about you? What's been happening?
Um, just working more than anything else. Working, started a new educational course.
Oh, what's that one?
Um, so basically, I'm doing an award in education and training, which basically means I can lecture once I've finished that.
And
So,
there'll be
um,
lucky students.
well, yeah. So the idea is to go and start. I do level two, level three fitness instructing, personal training stuff, and then kind of work it from there. So yeah, kind of try to shape the minds of the newbies coming out the fitness industry and try and get them away from all the shite that seems to be sadly coming into the industry at the moment. So yeah, can maybe give them a hand.
Yeah, and it's great that you're going to get them away from all the shite. I just wonder how much what they're going to be like, these personal trainers that
There'll be a lot.
get coached
There'll be
by
a lot.
Andy.
Well, no, because I'll probably have to rein in the. I'll have to rein in the French. So well, they'll not be too sweary. So
I suppose it's
too
got to be
too
professional.
sweary. There'll be a bit of swearing.
Yeah, I mean, it would be accidental, won't it? It would be Andy on
Oh,
his best behaviour.
every second word is an accident. I don't know how long I would get away with that for. Yeah, fuck it, fuck. Yep, all an accident. Didn't mean any of
Or, whoops, my bad.
them.
And this is really bad. It says a lot about my relationship with my siblings, but I set up a WhatsApp group between my brother and my sister and me, and I didn't know what to call it. So I called it um, Bros and Hose and Ruth. And, and my sister was
Like
like,
it.
I
That's
know,
good.
but her response, this was a little while back, and I don't know why. Like, obviously, that's pretty obvious what I'm doing there. And then she was like, "Oh, I've just realised that you've said and Ruth," which she said. So basically, it seems like that. Yeah, she said, although the hose being separate from you, Ruth, implies that I'm the hoe. I was like, "Oh, does it? I didn't realise. My bad." I was like,
Oh no, I made a
"Oh,"
mistake. Sorry about that.
and you saying every other word would be a swear word. I'm like, oh, that is Andy's mistake. That's like, oh, whoops, my bad. Didn't
Yeah.
mean
Oh,
to, Andy.
sorry about that. How's it?
Get your
Hashtag
hands
sorry,
up.
not sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Andy, can you believe this is actually episode 7?
Seven? Holy crap!
Yeah,
I thought we were
I
like
just
at
went
number
on.
3 or 4 or something like that.
I know. So we did our first Origin one. Go and listen to that if you want to, and hear all about how Andy is actually the Hulk or Captain America. And then we did Aging Strong, and then we did Fitness Myths, and then we went into actually just mainly talking about cake from then onwards, caking,
Yeah, I
food.
think that's kind of went down quite well, hasn't it? The talk about cake.
Well, I don't think that you can ever go wrong talking about cake. In fact, I have renamed my group coaching program to the No Crap Cake Method because I'm like, just cake, A, you should always be able to have it, and me, I think we're done with any shit in life at this stage of life. So I'm like,
Yeah,
it's not just cake,
absolutely.
it's just in general. I'm like, no, it's just no crap in general. And that's
And also, no crap cake. There's no. I've
no,
got no
if you
time
don't
for
eat the crap,
no time for bad cakes.
dry supermarket cake, no thank you. I'm not gonna have that.
Do you know the other one that I really dislike? I don't know if it's a nationwide thing, but there's a few of them. Is it patisserie? Is it Valerie? And it's
Oh, I
like
never go in.
don't because like it's all like that hose piped shite cream that's like
Chantilly, I think it is.
it's fucking awful. Like it's like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like what
It's
happens when
sweet.
you don't. It's like expanding foam. It's horrific stuff. Um,
I've never
icing is
been
butter and icing sugar and potentially some cocoa powder if you're going to make it chocolatey. Apart from
if you
that, take a flying shit.
that
Well,
that
maybe some cream cheese as well if you want to go that direction.
well, if
But
you're doing carrot cake, then that it
exactly,
becomes essential. But you like that's if I was doing a sponge, a Victoria sponge, I do a Victoria sponge which is plain with I could do you don't need to do a butter icing, but you could do a butter icing as you said, and then you just add cocoa to the Victoria sponge recipe and add cocoa to the butter icing, and
yeah,
that's the rest. But it's simple. Yeah, another thing. So Chantilly cream, not Andy's bag, nor mine actually. It's not going to be
no,
something I ever go for. No,
it's not.
I think
It's
they do an
just
American
such a
version.
weird texture.
Mm, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just it's like I don't know. It's like aerated toothpaste, but not minty. I'd actually quite like it if it was minty, but it's not. It's just weird. Yeah, not a. It's not my bag. I'm not a fan.
I
Um,
remember we did a Thanksgiving thing here when we had American stone once, and they wanted like that sort of cream on top. Was it Dream? Is it Dream topping or something like that? They've got another name for it, and that's really sweet cream. And
oh
not a fan.
no, they
You
can
know
go
what we
do one.
don't like? I know, and actually, the reason I've changed it is because so over the years, like just keeping that in mind, it's like, could I have something that I like more? Just that mentality in itself is just enough to kind of go, yeah, probably I'm going to wait because I'd rather have something I really like with, for me, with a cuppa, sitting
Yeah,
down rather than on the fly, just feeling obliged to eat it because somebody made it. It's not your fault that they made bad cake.
yeah. I was having a chat with somebody in the gym today about sort of just a guy that I sort of see occasionally. He's doing a bit of a cut at the moment, and we're chatting away and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, I have my kind of one kind of free like off plan meal on a Saturday," and I'm like, "Yeah." I goes, "I'm kind of similar." I goes, "But I always get to Saturday, and I'm like, I've got these massive thought processes of like, I'm going to have Chinese or I'm going to have a pizza, and I get to like Saturday night past there." Um, Laura was out, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna have," and I got to it, and I was like, "Do you know what? The barbecue's just sitting right at the back door. I've got a steak in the fridge. I'm just gonna have a steak and baked potato, and
These foods actually
it
feel,
was great.
but you
It
feel
was great.
better after eating them. That is a treat for
Yeah,
me. Like we did
absolutely.
similar. We were in Plymouth, city Plymouth, and we'd been at an open day with my eldest, and we were like, we could go to Wagamama's, which I do like a Wagamama's, but we don't live near a town, so we're like, we could take the boys to Wagamama's. And then we were near, I think it was an M&S food, and we're like, we hadn't mentioned it to the kids yet. And we're like, actually, I'd rather just go and get nice, like some nice meat and some stuff,
Yeah,
and have a barbecue at home because the weather was nice. And actually, we like it more. Like when you eat out, it often tastes worse than you'd make at home, doesn't it? And you're like, oh,
yeah. It's Laura says that as well. Actually, she's always like, "Oh, you've kind of ruined going out for dinner to like go and get a steak because you generally do steak better than whenever we're out." I'm like, well, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but I'm pretty handy with steaks.
I see. I think I've seen some pictures. Are you on ChatGPT, Andy?
Yes, I am.
I was like, what are you asking it?
Oh, no, no, no. Ah, yes. Just you've got Chat GPT's become like the new big thing, hasn't it?
Google. It's the new Google, isn't it?
Ah, yeah.
Well, it's
Um,
more than Google.
I always loved. Do you remember? Do you ever remember? Like, how you get all these random facts that you end up hearing, etc. There's one of the fact was there one random fact that was like, um, one random fact. It was like the most searched. Do you remember there was a website called Bing, Bing?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a website called Bing, and it was like a search engine like Google as well. And the most searched thing on Bing was Google.
I sorry, I just thought I'd put a light on. I used to use, and this is right back when the internet was early days, when you're using dial-up and so on. I used
Mm.
to use Ask Jeeves and type
Oh
everything like a
yeah.
question. Do you remember? And I don't know what, it just made it feel better to me. Going, how many? Obviously, you don't need to type any of that, but yeah,
Well,
I
it's like
was one
this.
of those people.
It's like the Chat GPT. I don't know if you've seen it. I've seen a few things recently where people are like talking about Chat GPT. I have used Chat GPT and then I'll always say thank you. Apparently, you're not to do that because it's like it wastes so much energy just
I
working saying thank you to it and it replying. So yeah,
I
I
had
feel
that
a bit.
you I had that you do need to say thank you because the corporate company that owns ChatGPT, it's costing them a fortune. That's what I had. I
So
had
there's
going
actually a reason.
always, yeah,
There's a reason to actually say thank you to it to make sure that they're losing a bit or they're actually paying a bit of money.
yeah, and for when AI takes over the world, apparently as well. We're their friend.
I remember I said thank you and please when I was
Oh,
asking questions.
sometimes I just haven't turned my caps lock off, and I feel like I'm shouting at her.
It
But
is that
actually,
one, isn't it?
I said to a client the other day, I said, "Oh, sorry, I refer to my chat GPT as a she." And she went, "Well, of course it's a she. Who else would be so logical and reasonable?"
That's not why it's a she. It's because it's good at gossip.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, yeah, it knows that. It knows
It
what's going
knows
on,
and it knows everything. It
or
should
it thinks
actually
it
be
does.
called. It should be called Isa. Chat Isa. That's what it should be called from Still Game because she's a nosy bism.
Yeah, there's that. But actually, there's also that thing about she has a level of confidence even when she shouldn't, which I think is more of a male characteristic. If I were to
Oh
point fingers,
yeah, that's 100% a male characteristic. It's that one where there's the age old one of women will look in the mirror, see everything that they dislike about themselves, missing out all the great things. A guy will look in the mirror and overlook everything that's horrendous and go, "I've got great arms." It's like just like that kind of level of confidence where you're like, "Cool," but
but can we be more like I want? Let's be more like that. Although I was listening to a book a little while ago, and it was talking briefly about shame, and it was like the reasons that women feel ashamed, and it's things like if people see them in like naked, or it's all of those body confidence things, um, and what other people are thinking of them, what their partner might think of them, the way they look, and it then went on to men feel shame apparently in exactly the same way. I can't remember what it said that men were, but it was like the opposite of women. So they didn't really give a shit at what their wife looks like. They're more feeling ashamed that their wife doesn't want to get, they're thinking that, why does she not like me? And I was like, oh my goodness, this is like, as in not doesn't she like me? It's like they're more upset that they won't have sex with them or so on. Whereas the woman's there
yeah,
going, I'm not going to do that because I feel bad about myself. And they're thinking, what's wrong with me? And I was like, oh dear, that's a sad place to be in
yeah,
when you've got the men
that's like
feeling
the
ashamed.
ultimate catch 22, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. But I was like, well, men and women all feel shame in the same way. It's just that it's often the opposite reasons.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Which don't
the,
unfortunately don't tie in with either.
I think that women, when they're worried about what their body looks like, I think it's often other women that are the most judgmental of it. I don't even think that men care that much.
I would agree with you on that one.
Mm.
This is good. It's probably a bit of a sweeping statement, but if
Yeah.
you ever put up, like I remember, remember putting up a couple of pictures of a photo shoot that I'd done, and the majority of blokes were like, "Oh, great work, well done, excellent," and it was females that were like, "Oh, that's awful. Oh, that's horrible." You're like, wait a minute. We've got a touch of double standards going on here. I'm not going to come onto your profile and go, by the way, you maybe need to do X, Y, and Z. So yeah, it's
I mean,
sadly,
obviously, you get the men. You hear about the men commenting on women's
of
posts
course
on
you do, of
Insta,
course you do.
but they're just assholes, right? And you get women that are just not very nice. But I think it's not even that women do it to people's faces. I think it's more them. They can be judgy probably to make themselves feel better. Or anyone that does that, it's to make themselves feel better, probably. And I'm not saying all women, because like most of the people I hang around with wouldn't be like that. But I do think that
Yeah.
when you hear about it, um, it does often tend to be
What is it?
she's
There's a I can't I want to say it's either Chris Rock or Eddie Murphy does a sketch when they're doing stand-up comedy that's basically um guy, if you were as a guy, if you were to introduce your girlfriend to one of your mates, your mate will be like, oh my God, she's amazing. Like, I need to get myself a girlfriend like her. Whereas if it's a woman introducing her boyfriend to her friends, they turn and they're like, I've got to get me him. So basically, I'm taking him off you, and it's so you can it's quite it's a really funny sketch. I'm pretty sure it's Chris Rock, but yeah, I don't understand the whole I don't understand the whole chucking bricks at people. Like, I don't. Unless,
I
like,
think
if they deserve it, if it's something like misinformation or something like that. But regardless, like, I popped up a post a couple last week or the week before about the fact that like fit shaming is just equally as bad as fat shaming. So, but we don't seem to be that bothered about people commenting on people's decisions to to feel better, to look better, to get in better shape. People are very quick to judge that, but they're not doing it the opposite way around, or we're not supposed to do it the opposite way around. Neither way is acceptable. It's as simple as that. Like,
no,
neither way.
and I
If you have an issue with it, shut up and just deal with the issue yourself. Like, you don't need to vocalize it or put it down on paper or put it out there. Excuse me.
but I remember years and years ago, um, uh, like it was a long time ago. Uh, I remember I was sitting with a lady, and she turned around to me and said, she made a comment about me doing not putting my family first and focusing on exercise. Now, obviously doesn't know me very well, because I definitely spend plenty of time with my family, but I do like to exercise. And I remember thinking then, like, how dare you say that? But then afterwards, I was like, but that's about her, because
Oh yeah,
we spend the same amount of time with family, but she isn't choosing to do that. She wasn't, and I was like, she's tried to make me feel bad for doing something that makes me feel good. And not all women are going to be like that at all. But
no,
normally, if
no, no.
somebody does say that, whether they're a man or a woman, it's coming from a place of insecurity about themselves. And
Yeah,
we have to keep remembering that, don't we? We have
it
to keep.
says more about them than it does about you. There's more in if someone's making comments like that about how somebody looks or that kind of stuff, it 100% has got everything to do with them. And unfortunately, you just happen to be the greenhouse they're going to throw stones at. That's just
Yeah,
the sad thing of it.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that, Andy, on social media. I'm like, means my reach has grown, right? It means that
Yeah,
if I
but
start getting but
at the
it's
same point, it's one of those ones where I think a lot, it's something that a lot of people will get um, quite hurt about the fact that somebody's made a comment like that. But actually, if anything, as soon as you make a change to your life, someone will comment, regardless if it's a friend, if it's a family member, it might be somebody you just don't even know. Says a hell of a lot more about them than it does about you. And this is also one where, like, me and Laura have this discussion regularly about, oh, you need to be the bigger person. It's all about being the bigger person. Like, just ignore them. And I'm like, sometimes it's not about being the bigger person. Sometimes you need to take somebody out at the knees so that they don't do this to somebody else. Like, there are there's a reason that we have like I was having this discussion today about the fact that I got bullied at high school for about a week and then dealt with things and everything was good after that. But that helped me become more resilient as a person. Like, it was a learning experience, and I think you just need to. It's a mindset thing, isn't it? It's one of those ones where you're just like, do you know what? If this is what somebody else is doing, that's nothing on me, it's everything on you, and you just need to understand that. Sadly, you will always have people that will pass comment, fuck them,
uh,
simple as.
yeah, and you will, and especially when you're making change, you'll have people that most of your good friends are going to be happy you're happy. They really will. Like, I can't think of any time that I wouldn't be happy that my friends are doing well in whatever they're doing, whether they're earning a lot of money doing very little work, or whether they've lost the weight, they've been, whatever it is, most people. But when people aren't happy for you, like we said, it's normally a reflection on them. But sometimes it can be that you've actually started setting boundaries now, and you're not being the same person for them. But that again, it shouldn't be either they're happy or you're happy. It should be able to be both. But that's normally a sign that perhaps you need to either discuss this with them or spend less time
Be and it's one of those difficult ones, isn't it? People are very we're very quick to cut out stuff in your life that you feel is not good for you. Like, oh, I'm going to cut carbs because I want to lose some weight, or we're very slow to cut people out your life who either aren't good for you, or B, continuously bring you down. Be quicker with that. Or and there's a couple of ways to deal with it. Speak to them about it, give them both barrels, or just time to go. Don't have any time for this anymore. Bye bye. You're now no longer part of what I regard as my inner circle. That's just how it is. We're quite slow to do that, sadly.
I think, and often those friendships can just kind of drift anyway, can't
Yeah.
they? Because you naturally drift apart. And I think that that can happen, not that you drift apart, but I think that we can start knowing ourselves a little bit better at this stage of life. I definitely feel like in my 40s, I know what I want more than perhaps at other stages. And
Yep.
I know that I can be a better friend when I am happier and doing the things I want to do too. So I've got the
Yeah.
friendships I've got. I love my friends, they're great, but I don't really have those other friends. I haven't fallen out with people over the years. It's just that some relationships haven't carried on, be it that they're at a different stage of life or whatever. But
Yeah, different
yeah,
stage of
if you
life.
saw,
You're in different areas. Sometimes sometimes you end up having things like, obviously we now have Finley. You've got friends that potentially don't want kids, so you probably end up seeing less of them because they don't want to see your kid if they don't want kids. Some of them however, I've got other friends. One of my best mates, Yossi, he's not got kids, but he loves coming and seeing the wee man. So, like, you'll know who to keep in your sort of keep in your friend zone, keep in the area you want them to, and the folk that you need to get rid of. It becomes very apparent very quickly. So
what's
yeah.
what's that say? Is it that you're the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with, or something like that? And
Yeah.
I think that that's why people do so well if they've got a change like fat loss and so on, with having a community. Because
Yeah.
if they're hanging around with the same people, they might be the nicest people in the world and will always be really great friends, but they might not get it, and that can be quite hard when you're trying to change. So then having that kind of backup of having other people that you can go to and chat to, it can feel like, okay, I've got those people that can support me and keep me going through that, while these other
and
friends,
it's
and then the
and
other
it's
friends might try
normally
and join in.
Yeah, and it's normally because they don't get it. And I think for a lot of this stuff, like, you decide to make changes to your life, whether it's stopping drinking alcohol, whether it is getting yourself into better shape, whether it's starting to eat better, you're always going to have friends who just don't understand it because they know you as you and they don't want you to change. And they're worried, and some of them are worried about you're going to change and become a different person. You know, that scares them. And at that point, if some you kind of have to be able to work out if it's a reason that somebody's doesn't want to lose you, and you just you got to tell them and say, look, making these changes for me. I'm not changing myself. I'm making these changes because I want to better my health. I want to get in better shape. That doesn't mean I'm going to change as a person. I'm still going to be here, still the same person. And if at that point you can hopefully try to build that bridge or rebuild that bridge and keep that friendship going. But if it's they're they're worried that you're not going to be their drinking buddy anymore, and that's all they're really bothered about, that's maybe a different conversation that needs to be had with that. So it's
I've
you need to know, you need to kind of understand where it's coming from.
I've got a couple of really lovely friends who, when one of them, when I stopped drinking so much, she joked, it was like a joke, but she was like, I can forgive you a lot of things, Ruth, but not drinking? Are you kidding me? Because we'd meet up and drink. And do you know what? The other day, the same friend did say to me, how did you move from having an evening drink then to not? And she's actually looking to not drink so much anymore, as well, because she's just kind of taken some time to realize that actually, although she doesn't want to give it up completely, it's she's quite happy to not. And she hasn't pushed me when I'm going over there to drink with her, um, at all. But at the beginning, I thought she might. And I've got another friend who we used to always meet in the evening, but I've realised we're meeting now more for coffee earlier, and it's just become that. But you know, that's something that when I stopped drinking so much, I thought that people would, well, they would not want me to go out with them or whatever it is. But it hasn't made a difference at all. They've just
Yeah.
kind of got used to it now.
It depends on as I say, it depends on the people you have around you as well. Because I was the same when I stopped drinking when I was 18. I was working as a bouncer at the time, so the kind of thing that you did was you'd finish your shift, and then you go out for sort of drinks afterwards. You'd have a drink in the venue that you were at, then you would head out if there was somewhere to go, and you would head out afterwards. And it was actually one of my mates, Graham, who he very much enjoyed a drink. And I remember me stopping drinking, and he would be. It took him 5 minutes to understand why I'd stopped drinking, and he would be the one that answered it. Folk would be like, "Why are you not drinking?" And he'd just be like, "Don't bother asking him." He goes, "He doesn't drink." He goes, "If anything, it means it means I get a lift home at the end of the night. So shut up and just leave him. Let him sip. Keep going with his Pepsi Max." So make a bit of a joke about it, and it kind of takes it out the situation, which is great. Um,
Yeah,
and
there's a
I
good.
think people do worry that you change when that happens. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a mouthpiece, loud, obnoxious twat with or without alcohol. So whatever you're getting, you're just getting me. So
I mean,
it doesn't really change.
the thought of drunk Andy is actually quite
Oh,
terrifying. Anyway,
drunk Andy would be in a corner sleeping somewhere, or I'd be literally lying snoring in the corner, or finding somewhere to or what I always call ghosting is like I'm going to the toilet and just never come back. I'm off home. See, I'm done.
I
I'm gone.
that's what I do. Right. So this is the difference between me and my husband drinking because he's also hardly drinking anymore, but for different reasons than me. I've always been very good at just knowing when I've had enough and stopping. And normally I do the what I call the French exit, and not try because
The
people always.
French exit.
I don't know why it's called French exit, but I'm like people. If you say goodbye to
Do you
people,
know
they try
why?
and
It's
make you stay
because they
up.
were cheese eating surrender monkeys and they always disappeared. That's
Oh,
why.
that's probably yeah. I don't know. But that see, it wasn't any. It wasn't meant in a bad way. But anyway, I will disappear. But my husband, who has some Scottish genes in him, he gets thirsty, and the stories I could tell you, like I. There's been interventions after from me. Like Barbados was a tricky year for his drinking. I was like, "What are you doing?" Like he hung out with this massive, tall Irish man, an Englishman. So it really was an Englishman, an Irishman, and a Scottish man went to a bar, and I'm like, what was going to happen? He was going to break his ribs, is what was going to happen. You know, Andy,
Uh,
honestly. So
and
he doesn't
there's where
drink
the
very much.
drinking came. There's where the drinking came to an end.
Yeah, well, I wish, but it did come to an end. But it's like he said, it's like the switch. He doesn't drink very often, but when he would, he'd get to a point, and then he'd be like, "Oh, I'm thirsty," and had no
Yeah.
awareness then of like where he was getting to. So he was always getting really drunk. And then the worst, and I think this with me, if I think about the things that have been most embarrassing in my life, it's always been after a drink. You know, it's, you know, I was always a good drunk, I guess. But yeah, but I'm like, oh, but that feeling the next day where you're a bit hungover and you're feeling a bit rubbish when I was younger. Just no, thank you. I don't
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I fortunately don't have any recollection of hangovers or being drunk because
I mean, hangovers were
it's 25 years ago this year. So
there you go.
yeah,
That's very good.
28th of October, 25 years. No,
That's
24 years.
well,
No,
you're going to be
25 years.
43. Yeah, you're going to be
25
25.
years. 25 years, yeah.
Yeah.
October
See,
28th.
I'm pleased to say that I very rarely have had in the past a hangover, because I have been very good at just, it's almost, I don't know if it was after having kids, but just knowing that that next drink would
There
be,
is the line.
yeah,
We're not going
I do
past it.
not want to drink. So I've always been somebody that'd have a glass of wine and then leave it really
Yeah.
anyway. But even that, I'm like, not
But
serving
it's
you.
also as well, like, you know, as soon as you have kids, like Laura had a was she out last weekend? 2 weekends ago. Whatever night she was out on a Saturday night, and she goes, I got to a certain point. I was just like, oh no, I goes, because Finley's going to be up at like 7 in the morning. I'll do my best to try and keep him occupied, but he'll want to see her because he hasn't seen her all day because she was out in the sort of the afternoon slash evening. So she's like, I just got to a certain point. I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to start drinking Pepsi Maxes now because I just can't be bothered having a sore head when he's jumping on top of me and running around and squawking all day. And it's like you kind of then go, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I definitely think it makes a difference. You can't. Your priorities are different, aren't they? And then
Yeah,
you start.
that's kind of a let's like obviously move on to like that kind of priorities. Priorities are different. You know, the more we age, priorities change. Some out of necessity, some out because the things just don't fit anymore. So one thing that should be a necessity when you, as priority as you start to get towards where we are is resistance training. Obviously, we've discussed this in previous podcasts. It is gets to a certain point where resistance training is a must in your weekly schedule wherever you can put it because you know we know the issues that come with lack of lean muscle but lack of bone density, especially as we get older. If you want to stay healthier as you get older, these things become massively more beneficial if you do them. But yeah, just things in general just change, don't you? It's like I was having that discussion with one of my clients. Tracy came up, so one of my online coaching clients, Tracy, came up to visit on Tuesday, so she was up in Edinburgh. So we went in and we are just doing a bit of training and stuff, and then we were chatting away. And I was like, "Look, because at the end of the day, you know, life changes at all times. Like, there's never going to be a perfect time to start anything. But you also have to realize that you have to be really more flexible about how you approach things, especially when you've got more on your plate with kids, with work, with just life in general. Like, I think it was the first week that maybe the first week that you were in Canada. Was it last week or the first week? I
You
was
were
feeling a bit
poorly.
crap.
I think it
Was it last?
was
Was that last
last
week?
week. Yeah.
Aye, so I had an idea. I had my week just generally planned out on when I've got clients. I've got a block of clients. I've got a block for training. I've got another block of clients. Come home, look after the wee man, and for 3 days I had to change all that because I was feeling like shit. So I ended up having to cancel clients for the first time in I don't know how long. Had to cancel a couple of clients. I couldn't train, so how my week ended up looking was completely different to how I expected it to go. And you know what? I don't feel guilty about it. It's just one of these things that happens. I think 10 years ago, I'd have probably made myself feel really shit about the fact that I'd missed out on training, on clients. But at the end of the day, we just need to kind of embrace change and moving forward and understand that life comes to kick you in the arse occasionally. And you just got to get on with it.
You could have read. I was literally been writing a podcast script for my own podcast, and I wrote on there that because I was talking about how why I'm changing the name of the group coaching, and I
Yeah.
said on there that part of it is that those, you know, we're trying to do the same approaches that we did 10 years ago, maybe longer ago.
Yeah.
And we're wondering why we're struggling now, but we're not taking into consideration that our life has changed so much. And that can be the priorities that we have. It can be the things that we have on, you know, just having kids if you've got them, having, or teenagers as I have, your work, often you're doing more because you're higher up in whatever you're doing. You just can't be as selfish in the nicest possible way. There's nothing, you know, but you can't always do that. And there are going to be things that are completely out of your control. And beating yourself up for things that you can't change is just, there's no point. And also, beating yourself up for not managing to do things that were never going to be realistic anyway is also pointless, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
If you're
also as
ill,
well,
you
if you
need to recover.
yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, what is the point in beating yourself up? The whole point is that you're trying. what's the point in beating yourself up? All that does is it makes you feel worse, which which makes the spiral get even deeper. So all you're doing is you're throwing yourself further into the hole, which is not a good idea. Let's be fair. So, you're better just to go, cool, suck it up. Sometimes these
Yeah.
things have to change. Life kicks you up the backside. Illness gets you, whether it's illness, injury, whether it's life, little get like for us, kids maybe ill. You've just got to get on with it. There's no point feeling guilty about it. There's no point in wishing the time away. At the end of the day, it is what it is.
Well, I think sometimes you even still need to remind yourself of that. Like I've had it's still ongoing, SI joint problem, my back has been bad. And I found myself getting, well, not like, I haven't dwelled on it, but there was a point where I was like, this is annoying now because it started in February, right? And I'm like, it's really annoying because there's certain movements that are still worse. And I was like, okay, what can I do? Because there's so much I can do, and rehabbing it and training in a way that's going to help. These are all things I can do rather than
Yeah.
just being annoyed that it's as it is. It flared up and the muscles have tightened around it, which has made it, harder. So I just need to focus on rehabbing it.
Yeah, and that's it. I think it's similar to just what you've just said. A couple of weeks ago, I had a chat with a physio that works in the studio, Sean, and I was having a chat with him because I thought I'd actually ruptured my MCL. Thought I'd done my knee again. There was no trauma, so it wasn't like I'd done something and it was like an instant like, oh, my knee feels bad. But like over the last maybe 3 or 4 months, my knee's been tight. It's been sore, and there's been certain things like leg extensions where my knee just doesn't like it. And I'd said to him, and he was like, all right, cool. Let's give you let's give you the test. So they're doing the one where they're seeing like the laxity of your tendons and your ligaments and stuff. And he went, nah, he goes, that although you've had your obviously reconstruction on that side, there's a little bit of play. He goes, but not anywhere near to the point where I think that there's something that's happened. He goes, let's just do a couple of other things. So we did a thing called the Thomas test, which is where you sit on the edge of like the bed, catch a hold of your knee and then roll back, and it's to see how flexible you are at the hip so that your other leg should hang. Basically, I had my leg was at I had an erection with my legs. Put it that way. It was sitting at like 45 degrees towards the sky, and he went, "Yeah, I think maybe your issue is your hip flexor and your quads are ridiculously tight." I was like, "Cool." So,
have you been neglecting glutes and hamstrings?
No, I've been doing too much, far too much. And he's like, right, you need to get some mobility stuff done. So a hip flexor stretch. I am basically using.
Andy, was he just telling you that you've got too much muscle?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I'm just too jacked.
Yeah, I thought so. I tried to say that to my physio the other day. I was like, sorry, can you stop there? You're just saying I'm too much.
Are you saying I'm too jacked? Why, thank you.
No, carry on. So you've got to get the ball and
so
stuff.
Hip flexor stretch. I've got like one of these kind of trigger point balls that basically I put behind my knee and then kneel down, and it's to open up the knee capsule slightly.
I don't like it.
No, genuinely, it just goes in behind your knee, between your calf and your hamstring. Honestly, I thought that it would be the most horrific feeling in the world.
Yeah.
It feels amazing. It feels like my knee capsule's getting opened up. It's so good. And then curtsy lunges. So I've been doing curtsy lunges and doing them for about 10 days. And honestly, in fact, after about 2 days, I was feeling like felt brand new. And it's, little things like that where you're like, cool, you know what? I should have probably done this stuff earlier, but me being me, I need to get told by somebody else to do it. But yeah,
if you're doing a lot of strength training, there is a danger that your mobility and flexibility can diminish. And if you're like me, and it sounds like you are, those types of things then feel harder to do, which means they are the things that you probably are going to put off. And so they're
also the boring things as well.
Yeah, they're boring. Yeah, picking up weights, putting them back down is one thing, but doing some stretching. Yeah.
Sitting in this position for 30 seconds. I've got no time for 30 seconds. But do you know what? I was doing it as my rest in between sets. And actually, do you know what? I think I was doing a chest and bicep session in between every set. I was doing 30-second stretch on one side, 30 seconds on the other side, ball behind one knee, ball behind the other knee, five curtsy lunges, five curtsy lunges. And I tell you what,
It is the
honestly,
way.
2 or 3 days and my knees feel great. Like I wake up in the morning, they're not sore. And it's just that one simple thing that I've now implemented, and I'm like, I knew I should have been doing this, but I never got round to it. So yeah,
But
it
you've
is what it
basically
is.
habit stacked it with other exercise
Exactly.
things you're doing anyway. I that is like I know that even all of those things, putting stuff that you mobility exercises
Yeah.
between your working sets is a great idea. Like I'll often um put in after a bench, I might put like something like a face pull or something like that to kind of
Yep.
just get that, you know,
Yeah.
scapular retraction kind of going on there, just that opposite. But even like today I was doing for mine doing single leg deadlifts, but on the side that's bad, I inadvertently I've just been protecting that joint, so I've been
Yeah.
moving not so well, so I'm just tying my leg up with a band to pull it out to make that glute activate again, and doing those between other exercises as well. And but you just have to start paying attention to these things,
Yeah.
probably
You
a little
just
more as we've got wear and tear.
Yeah, exactly. It's a kind of sort of similar thing, and you know what? So a lot of it is, you mentioned again just before about the fact that you kind of also have to look and realize where you are in terms of you can't keep looking back. So 10 years ago, my bench one RM was 185 kilos, and I'm still carrying a bit of a shoulder niggle, and I think I got up to 145 for I think 3 or 4 reps the other day, and I'm sitting going, oh, that was the first thought. Okay, it's not even close to 185. Still 145. It's still a decent amount of weight that I'm shifting. I'm like that going, wait a minute, let's reframe this slightly. That's actually not that bad for a guy with basically one arm. I'll take that. So yeah,
It's
it
very
is.
good.
It's about reframing things and kind of under. Yeah, exactly. And you kind of have to remember that it's about growing old gracefully, um,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
disgracefully. But disgracefully doesn't mean going
Ideally,
and destroying yourself, try to push too heavy weights. So yeah,
no, it means so that you can go and do the disgraceful things because you're looking after yourself the rest of the time. But I
so
was
I'm more
chatting to
flexible now.
more flexible. I was
Woo!
chatting with a client earlier about that exact mindset about like running was one of them, that I was like, it's almost harder when you've got people that have been fit before because they've always comparing, and actually sometimes then going and trying to do those things again is just a real wake up call. It's like, oh, that's how much fitness I've lost. You're going to naturally compare, but actually you do kind of need to accept where you are now and let go of that and be like, this is what I'm working with right now. And I did that with my running, and I started enjoying it so much more because when I used to run faster, I was focusing really on running. That was like the thing that I did. And now I focus on strength training, and running is something I do just on the side, just to put headphones on and go for a run. I'm not out doing interval training sessions all the time and trying to get
Yeah,
faster and looking at my watch. And why would I compare my times now to a time when I was really working and also not enjoying it as much, but really working on trying to get faster? So, yeah,
yeah,
no,
exactly.
don't.
It's a bit of perspective, isn't it?
Exactly, Andy. Exactly. What are you up to this weekend then? It's Friday. We're chatting on
Um,
Friday.
what we get up to? Beautiful sunshine, so I'm pretty sure the barbecue will be back out over the weekend. It has been basically the last 2 weeks. I think I've not used the barbecue once. It's basically been 13 days of barbecues, which has been class. I love a barbecue.
Yeah. Have you
So I've got
got what type of
go for
barbecue?
it.
Like, are you one of these?
I've got a Kadak, which is a South African braai brand. It's a gas one, so it's kind of like a big circle.
Yeah, I know them.
But the aim, I love barbecues. I love smoking. I love all that stuff. So the dream setup at the moment, I actually put a new fence up this over the weekend there in the garden, and we're getting some decking put down at the moment too. And I want to remove. We've got a kind of greenhouse on the side of the garage. And if we were to remove the greenhouse, it's kind of paved, slightly raised. I'll put an awning across the top, and I want to build in like a smoker barbecue area, so I can actually have like a kitchenette, like basically outside. That's kind of going to be a bit of a project for me, I think. But yeah, I'm going to get like a proper big offset smoker, the one that's got like the box at the side, and then
Oh
work
yeah,
get one of
I've
them
seen
because
those
I
in like
absolutely.
pit masters.
That's Do you see that the Pitmaster bar like the Barbecue Master on Netflix? That's like my
Yeah.
ultimate favorite program. Absolutely love it. It's
Oh,
like
we saw that.
unbelievably good. Um,
Yeah.
it's also I don't. This is sound really weird, but see, whenever I'm cutting weight, so currently I'm doing a bit of a cut at the moment, and whenever I do a cut, my go-to is always food shows. So it's like suppose it's
Vicariously
like
or something.
if I living vicariously. So like
Yeah.
man versus food. I think one of the years that I competed, man versus food was basically the one. This one's been what going back over the barbecue showdown is the one that's on Netflix just now. It's such a good series.
Oh, I
I
have to
think there's
watch
two.
that.
Oh, barbecue showdown's amazing. It's basically like Master Chef with barbecues, and you've got a guy called Kevin Bloodsoe and then a woman called Melissa Cookston, who are like two of the top barbecue experts in the US, and it's
Oh, I've
unbelievable,
watched
so
it
good.
before, but I've
Yeah, so
watched one episode.
they get loads of different challenges. So like they've got to do it over basically over like just an open flame, or they've got to use a smoker. They've got to do two proteins and four sides and all that kind of stuff. It's genuinely the best thing ever.
I now the episode I watched, which was a long time ago, somebody had not got the memo about which were the hottest chili peppers in the world, and they just put it on the
Oh,
dressing,
that's right. She
and
put Scotch bonnets into
it was
her.
hotter than that. It was the what's it
Oh, it was
called?
no, it was
It was the California Reaper or something like that.
the Reaper. Yeah, it was a Reaper chili
Yeah,
she put in, and it was in like they were doing. Was it chimichurri? I think she made, and
yeah,
she
and
put
she
it
just
in, and
chopped it up.
Melissa Cookston nearly had a heart attack. Yeah, she was like literally sweating. So yeah,
And
but
she was annoyed.
that's she was not a happy bunny with that one. Yeah. Um.
No,
So, but
yeah,
yeah,
my,
that show's amazing. Such a good show.
my husband likes barbecuing, and like the gas barbecues are great if you're wanting to use it every day, because I feel
Yeah.
like when we lived abroad, like we'd go out and cook everything on it because it
Yeah.
just saved cleaning up in the kitchen. But we've got a gas barbecue, but we've also got like the kettle one,
The
it, this
the
the
egg kind of thing.
it's like the egg, but it's an Aldi. It's a cast iron smoking thing. So you can do like your slow roasted briskets and stuff. You put the hole in the bottom. We do
Yeah.
shoulders of pork and things like that on it. But it's nice because you can smoke the meat on that. But
Yeah.
well, apparently, I have to be honest, I let him do that. I had a reference, I think it was years ago, the girl that used to draw the little comics, she probably still does, but she called it bastarding barbecue season because she was like, it's when your husband goes, don't you worry, I'll do all the cooking. You just make a few salads. And then they stand by the barbecue with the meat. And they're like, got all of those salads and all of those sides done. It's like bastarding barbecue season is back.
To be fair,
But I know.
Laura doesn't do it. She just sits in the sun. I do most of that stuff when it comes to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you tell what does I made my own dry rub as well for my meat for like brisket and stuff. So it was basically I use mustard as a binder. So basically you
Mhm.
cover your brisket in mustard. And it was garlic salt, brown sugar, smoked paprika,
Yeah.
um, smoked
I'm going to go and look
paprika,
and see my husband's recipe because he's got one and he calls
and
it butt rub.
I tried like this was like properly random stuff. So I bought some Scottish red heather flowers. They've got a slight taste, and basically pestle and mortared them up, and that went really well because it then comes it pink makes the obviously smoking makes the meat kind of pinky all the way through, but the that and then I also use nettles as well, so dried nettles, and that actually kind of it's a slightly more acidic taste. So you would probably need to have a slightly sweeter sauce with it, like a sort of barbecue sauce, because it's a bit more acidy with the dried nettles. But yeah, the works
I
pretty well actually.
I that is definitely not going to be the same because I was like, oh, my husband's got one and he's got it labelled in the cupboard, the tub that it's in, and
Yep.
it's his butt rub is what he calls it because we always used to eat it
Yeah,
on top of Boston butt, you know,
Boston
and
butt.
so it's called his butt rub, but it's definitely got garlic
That's what
salt
I've got.
and so on. But
I've got that. I've got that apron,
have
butt
you?
rub. Yeah, I've got the butt rub apron. It's quite funny.
He wanted the you know, you get the bumper stickers. We saw one once and it said brisket is my spirit animal, and he was like, I want that bumper sticker.
I'm definitely getting that to put on my barbecue.
Yeah. But you know, there we go. This has become barbecue. I don't know much about barbecue, but I know I like the taste of it. So I'm happy
Yep.
for him to crack on and cook stuff. But
Yeah.
sounds great. Oh, so enjoy
It's
your
just-
barbecuing this weekend.
yeah, and then I think that Laura's out tomorrow. Actually, she's off to see Moulin Rouge with her mum. So I'm like, cool. It's going to be me and the wee man. We'll have barbecue season well underway. What about yourself? What have you got planned?
Not loads. I'm tomorrow. I'm doing an Insta live. I'm going to do that one on my
Ooh.
own. I'm going to do one on movement in midlife, and then I'm planning on my run. I'm going to do my long run, which I haven't been doing because of my back. But I'm just going to take it easy and just see how it feels, and it should be fine. So I'm going to do that, and then we're trying to sort some bits of the house out. So my plan is to actually have a bit of a clear out of things. I something else that's changed, Andy, as I've got older is I actually am quite keen on mowing the lawn, and I
How weird is it that the older you get, the more joy you get from the shit that when you were a kid you were like, I fucking hate this.
I
I love
actually
cutting my grass. I have no more joy than being able to hang a washing out on the line. Genuinely, when it's dry like this and I've got a wash and I'm like, oh my God, this is going on the line. Let's do this.
yeah.
It's so sad, but
And
so
actually,
rewarding.
my husband said he was chatting to his friends the other day, and they were like all saying exactly what you said, that they're like, oh, we can dry some washing outside, and that's, you know, a group of guys. And for me, I the other day we were doing BJJ stuff and we laid the mats out on the lawn, and they stayed there for like until, so that was Wednesday evening, and they stayed there for 24 hours because I thought, oh, we'll practice again tomorrow. And it's made the weeds grow up quickly underneath it. And I was like, oh, it's ruining my lawn. And I was like, what is happening to me? Who is this person? I don't like it, but
Yes.
I like it. I'm out there making sure it looks nice.
Yeah, I've been the same. I've been out. I'm watering the garden. Like Laura's, she's the plants. She deals with the plants. I have no idea. I would just kill everything probably. But
Yeah, I
I'm
kill
out
them.
there tending, watering the lawn, cutting my grass, getting my strimmer out, getting it all sorted. Um, like putting a
Yeah.
washing out. You get to a certain age, and this stuff just brings you like unadulterated joy, and it's so weird.
It is weird. I honestly, I genuinely, I would say even 5 years ago, I'd look at the lawn and be like, oh, and now I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I
Yeah, you're
like
like that
it.
going, oh no, there's a dry bit there. I need to tend to that. Really nice. Your way poking your way, get your fork out, start poking it, wee bit of seed in there. You're like,
Everything
this is
green.
what the hell is going on here?
I'm like, I'm kind of embarrassed about it because I'm like, but I
Oh,
also,
just
I
absolutely
just,
revel in it. It's great.
well, I exactly, but I also like think it's that time where you're doing a job and no one can disturb you because you're very busy and you're on your own, and it's just like,
Yeah,
you know,
Laura was like that. She goes, "Oh, I'm going to help you with the fence." I'm like, "No, it's fine. The fence, I'll be quite happy to do the fence myself. I just get to drill holes and shit, batter stuff in with a hammer. It's like that's basically that's a man's dream."
that is. So my husband is making it a joke now, where he goes, "Oh, I might mow the lawn this afternoon," and he's just looking at me and seeing me going, "No, no, don't." That's That's my job. You're not allowed. He can do
Yeah,
the strimming. I'll give him that, but he just does it
yeah.
to test the
Well, I
autumn.
got home from work and Laura had taken the afternoon off work and she's cutting the grass and I was raging. I was like, "What are you doing? That's my job. You go and deal with the flowers. Those things over there. I do the grass." So yeah,
You
it's,
sounded
it
even
becomes
more
quite
Scottish then. An
it
angry
becomes quite
Scottish.
competitive. Grow
I
my
would-
grass, you pure reg. I'm gonna batter you.
You said that is what I
We're
think
going
of as
we're going
being more
Shrek.
Glasgow.
Ogres are like
Ah,
onions. We have layers.
yeah, I love that.
There you go.
Who said that the other day? Not that.
That's
Somebody said the same. I didn't realise that was Shrek.
that's Shrek. Yeah, Shrek. One of
So
the
bad with knowing film.
Shrek is a very quotable film. It's a great film.
Yeah, I've got a weird memory for some facts, but films, the names of films, like I'll
Oh,
be like, maybe I've watched it. I don't know. And the
I'm
names of books
horrific.
that I've read.
Laura hates watching films with me because I've got like I remember and I'll quote it as we go. So like films like Bad Boys, any of the Marvel films, Shrek, Austin Powers. I can basically the three Austin Powers films I can quote off the top of my head. So whenever like that, she's like, I hate watching films with you that you've seen before because you just sit there and you're just quoting away, and I'm like that going, but that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like I've got
I
a
think it's a
ridiculous
misspent
memory
youth,
for
Andy.
useless
Yeah.
shit.
I think that's
100%,
yeah.
100% misspent youth.
I can't. I'm not even great at watching films multiple times, but I will.
If a
I think
film's
it's
good,
really
I
good.
can watch it a few times. In fact, one of the ones I've watched recently for a few times is, have you seen the film Tag?
No, is it really good then?
So I think it is on, I want to say it's on Netflix. And it's basically about this group of guys who have been playing the game TIG, or Touch and Go is what its tag stands for. And they've been playing it since they were kids, and it's a true story. They basically are all in their like fifties and stuff now, and they still play. For the month of May, literally wherever they are, like one of them will like pitch up, will flat flown like 400 miles in America to go and like scare his mate and like run out the golf course and tag him. It's honestly it's one of
People
the
do that in real
funniest
life.
films ever. Oh, and
Yeah.
these guys were in the Wall Street Journal. There was an article about them in the Wall Street Journal because one of them's it was like a hedge fund manager. One of them's like a minister. They're like all got different jobs, but they all went to school together. And for the month of May, basically, it was like free reign on
It doesn't
tag.
do great on Rotten Tomatoes.
Don't
It's
ever
crap.
look at Rotten Tomatoes. Don't ever look at it is genuinely one of the funniest films you'll watch because it's got
Okay.
Dr. Stew from The Hangover, Dr. Stew from The Hangover. Jeremy Renner's in it as well, and then Do you remember Isla Fisher?
Yeah, I can see that
So
from Home and
so
Away.
Borat's Sacha Baron Cohen's ex-miss
Ex-
she's in it and she's mental in it, like grade A nut job. It's
I actually-
hilariously funny.
I'll watch it and then I will let you know because 8 years ago there was a guy, I'm still friends with him, Nick from the gym that I go to. He recommended a film and I was like, oh, okay, well, Nick's recommended it. I'll watch it. And I swear to God, I'm going to find the name of it. It was, I think it was
We're about to find out what next choice of films are.
It was awful. It had The Rock in it. Hang on.
Well, that's
I'll
not
get the
good.
name.
I love The Rock, but that's not a good start.
No, it isn't. It was
Walking Tall? Welcome to the
No.
Jungle?
no. It was.
Um,
I'll find it. He played. It's like somebody that.
the same character in every film he's in.
No, he played a slightly different character. What is it? What did he play?
Was it? It wasn't. Was it the Tooth Fairy? Game Plan, where he's the American footballer and finds out he's got a daughter.
I'm gonna find it. No, Pain and Gain. Pain and Gain.
Oh, don't that's
It was
that is
awful.
that's only a film. That's also a true story as well. That's
Well,
an
maybe-
actual
I don't
that's
think
actual
Nick
real
knew
life.
that. Is
It's
it?
that's a true story about Mark Wahlberg's character, basically Daniel. I can't remember what his surname is, But I don't know if it's loosely based or quite close to, but that's based on a true story, and it's an all right film if you kind of find bodybuilding quite interesting because it's obviously about folk banging loads of steroids and getting angry and stuff. But it's not a great film. It's not a great film.
I think I
There are
went. This was
there are
years
better
ago.
films. There are better films with The Rock in them. Go
Well,
watch Game Plan.
okay.
That's like probably the cheesiest film that he's ever been in. It's basically he's an American footballer who finds out he's got a daughter from like a past relationship. It is hilariously funny because it's a kids basically a kids film. It's like a universal rating or something like that. One of his breakout films.
What's the other?
But watch Tag. It's if you don't like it, there's something wrong with your film choices.
Okay. Well, I like you like Marvel. I like Marvel films. So
Yep.
and the other one I was going to say is the name of it. It's so good. Blind Side. When you're talking about NFL ones, I did really like.
Well,
Did you not like
it's
it?
also come out that apparently that none of it's true, or it was all there was a whole lot of
It's
rather
so
weird
good.
stuff came out about it.
It
And I
ruined it
like
for
Sandra
me.
Bullock. I've watched it. I found it kind of a bit boring, to be fair. It just
I
didn't
quite
really
liked
catch
it.
me. I didn't think it was a bad film, but it was a bit slow for me. I kind of like the fast paced, lots of fighting. My 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 actors are Jason Statham, um, Jason
He's married to a
Statham,
local girl, a girl that went
uh,
to school, the same school as me, but
Rosie Huntington
from Whitley. Yeah,
Whitley,
she's
I think
from the local
she was in
town.
she was in Transformers, one of the
Yeah,
Transformers films.
I don't
Um,
know her, but she was in a few school years below me.
Action films for me. Alan Ritchson, who's the new Reacher, he's unbelievable. Jason Statham, Tom Hardy's class as well, and then obviously we have to mention Arnold. All of Arnold's films are unbelievable. They're class. I don't think he has a bad film. Well, probably he does have a bad film, but I've refused to watch it, or
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
forgotten it.
the Arnie films. My husband really likes them. I think it's just
Again,
that now they're
some
dated. They're dated.
unbelievably quotable films.
Oh yeah, and
Total
people are still
Recall,
quoting them all the time.
Predator, Unit. Get to the chopper.
But yeah, I mean,
You've
he
got.
seems
Let's
like
hear your Arnold. Let's hear your Arnold accent.
I
Come on, have a shot at
I
Arnold.
I can't. I don't
Sally,
think I
I
can.
said I'd
You
kill
know
you
when
last.
but I think Scottish people are better at doing accents. I don't know what it is, but it's like when you're like, okay, I've got this, and then nothing similar comes out your mouth. The
Yeah.
only accent I would probably be able to do is Devon because it's local.
What's a Devon accent? Is that
Well,
like
it depends
me
because we've got
combine
people that have.
harvester? I got a combine harvester and I'm gonna go down
Well,
the
it
fields.
depends what part of Devon you live in, you see. So we used to
Ah,
joke, this is bad. Anyone from Plymouth, apologies, but used to call it the Janner accent, and me and my friends would be like, "Yeah, look at your gold earrings in your fooder, gold and fooder." But normally I'd just be like, "All right," like I don't know, going down quat, which is I didn't realize. I used to say it to my friend all the time, be like, "Yeah, going down quat." And I didn't know that this other girl was like, "What is this quap you're talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry, it's co-op." We just always call
is
it
is it
quap.
is the film Hot Fuzz based down your direction?
It's in Somerset. It's in Wales, which is
Somerset, because
Somerset.
that's
Somerset.
a
Yeah.
that the accent that
They're,
Nick Frost has in that's so funny.
yeah, and that's like Glastonbury way,
Ah, right, yeah,
Glastonbury,
yeah.
that sort of way. So that's a good couple of hours from here. But like, I can't even do a Devon accent when I try and do it there. I could do it probably around a Devon person a bit more. But no, impressions. When we lived in Barbados, people would do the
Yeah,
Bayesian accent. Not a chance. It would be very inappropriate of me to even attempt it. It's
yeah.
just
I've always been pretty handy with accents. I think it's just well, I don't know. I
so
kind of enjoy
bad.
trying to do it. So yeah, because I think Scotland's a strange one because I've got a Scottish accent, but it's not really synonymous with an area because I've lived in so many places in Scotland that I don't really have. I think if you were from, it's definitely not like a full-on Glaswegian accent, and it's definitely not an Edinburgh accent. It's kind of in the middle. So, um, yeah.
Uh, My husband does a good Glaswegian accent. I think when he's doing it,
Well,
he can go right into that like
so if you come back up north, up north, up towards Glasgow. I don't know if your husband's like this, but Laura's like this because she's from through the west. And as we're driving through, so you get to a place called Hart Hill, which is about halfway between Edinburgh and Glasgow. It's also like the wettest place in the country. Like the west of Scotland is like you basically need to you grow up in a pair of wellies, or and you've got gills to be able to breathe underwater because it's so wet through there. But Laura gets like halfway and starts bringing out like more. The weech comes out of her, so she's like, "We get halfway." She's like, "Oh yes." She goes, "Oh, that's quality." I'm like,
Oh,
"What?
yeah.
That's pure quality." I'm like, "Who are you? Like, what's happened? Have we stepped into some
Crossed
kind of
over.
time warp or something?" But it's because she's
There's,
getting closer to Glasgow. The
it's
twang
the
comes in.
magnetic fields. The magnetic fields is just.
Magnetic fields there. It's a telephone. There's a set of like TV masts that are at Hart Hill that's split between the two. It's when you get to them, she starts becoming more Ouija. You're like, whoa, all right, I'm going to get champed in a minute.
Yeah, no, I mean, he does when he's talking to people in Scotland, then his accent gets stronger. But
The
I
accent
mean,
ramps up.
yeah, and we had a Korean girl staying with us for a while, and I went downstairs one day, and they were saying, my husband and my friend were saying, she was telling them about gochujang, and my husband was saying it to her, and she looked at me and she went, "What is it that he's doing that makes it sound weird?" And I went, "Oh, is it that he's kind of putting on a Chinese accent for you?" Because he wasn't doing it on purpose, but he was going gochujang, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "Why is he saying it weirdly?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm really sorry about him. He thinks he's saying it." So, it's awful. And she was in hysterics. And I was like, "Yeah, it's probably that, actually." And she was like, "Yeah, I think it is. I think it's that."
It seems to be a British thing though, isn't it? When you go abroad, you basically put on the accent and speak in English, but if you put the accent on, you hope that they understand you. You're like,
Yeah.
cool. I don't know if it works
And
like
I
that.
don't
Fortunately,
know if
whenever you
it's
go,
just,
they're mainly.
yeah, I feel like it's just
Yeah.
trying to fit in. You're like, "Oh, I'm going to say it." It just sounds so
Yeah, I'm
weird,
gonna
doesn't
go.
it?
I'm
When you
gonna
go
go
to
that way.
France and start
Uh,
talking in English and French
All
accent.
right, mate. Bonjour.
It just, I think you
Have
have
you
to
seen the
try.
Eiffel Tower anywhere? Je m'appelle la
Oh,
discothèque.
well, that I would imagine that the Scottish accent in French is going to feel pretty hard to understand for a
Aye.
French person.
J'habite, je m'appelle Andrew. J'habite à Leatham en Écosse. That's all I remember from French when I was a kid.
In Scotland, yeah, see, I got
I
that
live
as
in
well.
Leatham in Scotland.
I remember the thing that I always used to know how to say when I was younger was, "Can I try on this, please?" in a 41, which was my shoe size.
14,
No,
is it 14?
Aeon. So you'd say, hang on, 14. No, it's not. It's oh my god, 14. Oh my goodness.
14.
When you just do it. Um but I haven't done god, that's gonna drive me mad. I think it was like Puede de Thermi. No, that's Puede de Thermi is what is. That's something different. Oh my goodness, my French. Pardon my French. 41. It's 41, isn't it? Around,
40.
yeah,
40.
40.
Yeah,
41.
that's
I
right.
was like, it doesn't sound right what you're saying. But that's right, it's 41. I was about to look it up, but there we go. I leave it at that.
Pure
Anyway,
current on. I want a reason. I want some currents.
exactly. I just can't make. I've been learning Spanish on Duolingo, and my French is gone. It's like I used to like have
I
more.
always that's one thing I would learn is Spanish. I like Spanish is it's a
I
very
think it's
a real it's a really nice language on the ear. I always find.
yeah,
Whereas I always found
yeah,
French is all right. It's got its good bits. German, on the other hand, is like, wow, are you angry at all times? If you are, speak German.
yeah. Well,
Achtung!
I will never forget. My husband was in the army, so he was living in Germany when we met. And when I was over there for that few months, I remember being at a bus stop and saying to these German people, these German guys, I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Like, I don't speak German." They said, "We can teach you." And I went, "Oh, yes, please." And they went, "Hello is hello." And I went, "Oh, hello." And that was it. And I was like, "Oh, thanks. Hello is hello." So
Hello.
but hello, just with an A. But yeah, there we go. I'm pretty terrible, and I don't think Duolingo
There's a
doing
real
it.
there's a real funny one on. Did you ever watch QI?
Mhm.
Stephen Fry, and they were talking about what a mobile phone is in German. Mein Handy is your mobile phone. Mein Handy. It's like
I quite, I quite,
the campus thing to say about Mein Handy. Have you seen Mein Handy?
I, I think I'd quite like to learn German now.
There's
Actually,
a few bits where you're like, oh, that's actually quite. I found that hilariously funny. Mein Handy is your mobile phone,
I
but
need.
then you've got the rest of it. Just sounds like they're very very angry with you at all times. It's very similar to Russian. Russian's the same. Russian, I've heard folks speaking Russian, and I'm like, wow. You think they're literally going to start fighting, and then they start hugging. You're like, whoa, okay, this is a bit
Oh,
weird.
I think
But
I feel like eine kleine Kartoffel. Is that like my little potato or something? I don't speak German, but I'm sure that my grandpa used to say that to me. Eine kleine Kartoffel or something. My little potato. I don't know. I might be.
That just reminds me of the film Cool Runnings when the Jamaican guys are trying to do eins, zwei, drei when they're doing the Swiss way of starting off in the bobsled.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's meine kleine Kartoffel, not eine kleine. Meine kleine.
Meine, meine
Meine
kleine
Kartoffel.
Kartfuffel.
Kartoffel. Yeah, I was like,
Kartoffel.
yeah, I don't know why my grandpa used to say it to me.
Meine
He'd be like,
kleine
meine
Kartfuffel.
kleine Kartoffel. I think it just
Meine
sounded
kleine
good.
Kartoffel. Mein
It's
Handy.
like it's like I used to say to my, the kids. It's like, où est mon petit pois? My little pea, because it just
Oh, that's
sounded
right,
right.
yeah.
Petit pois.
Petit,
Um,
ma petit pois.
yeah, just
So
whatever
now we've
sounds
went
good.
from cakes to barbecue, now to
I
languages.
mean,
We're
have
going
we
well.
chatted fitness? Probably not. But next time, actually, I have got, and I think there are some things that I've thought, we could have mentioned that in this podcast. And one of
So,
them
what
was,
we're going
and
to
I'll
do,
say it now,
we'll we'll be back on
planet.
next week. We'll be back on next
Yeah.
week because obviously
And we will
we're going to
talk
try and make
about,
this
I
more
think,
regularly.
yes. And I think we can talk about next week the, when we're doing things, it's actually being brave enough, because the reason I'm not getting better at Spanish, and we'll chat about this next week, is because actually to get better, I need to talk Spanish probably to Spanish people. But that's scary. And, when we're doing anything, there is a point where you have to do scary things to progress. And I
Yeah,
think we can chat about that next week. I was just
failure
thinking
is
about
where we
Duolingo.
learn.
Yes.
Failure
Yeah.
is where we learn.
Exactly. So it's, I know some Spanish people that would be happy to help me, but I don't because it's embarrassing. But actually, if I want to get better, if I actually want to learn, then that's the next step, isn't it? Okay. And
Absolutely.
on that note, until next time, Andy.
Yes. If you want to find us, we're obviously on Instagram. Ruth is at RuthMacFit. It's MAC Fit. I'm Andy underscore Wolfpack. If you have listened to this podcast, please give us a 5-star rating. It works nicely with the algorithms for people that may find this amusing, information giving. It might help them with what they need in terms
They
of
might
their
feel more
fitness and their
normal.
training. Yeah, and also their cake and barbecue needs. So yes, it's always good if you have listened to this, screenshot it on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever it is you're getting it, share it up on Instagram, and then tag us in it, and yeah, all good, the usual stuff. And if you want to get in touch with us, Instagram is probably your best bet.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to come on there and ask us questions. And we will answer questions we get asked. And then it might be more fitness related.
Exactly. Maybe what we'll do is actually over the weekend I'll stick a post up on Instagram and collect a few questions for next week as well.
That sounds like a wonderful idea. Yes. Excellent. Well, thank you so
Awesome.
much, Andy. Until next time.
You
Thank you,
too.
everyone.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.